this Rubik and this Witch Doctor I think are most important. I think this Kunkka and the PA, once they get the BKBs, they're going to have to focus the Wraith King. Hector's going to get some Midas, some Radiance. He's going to have to be their front line. And once he is on the front line, they're going to have to be scared of him. And
yeah,
I think Chris Lux here is going to have to kind of, you know, utilize that being scared.
Templar Assassin. You literally has Assassin in the name.
Yeah. I like it. It matches up well versus Kunkka mid. The only bad thing is if you get torrented, you lose your refraction, but neither here can deny anymore.
Okay.
So the lane's actually a real lane now.
Everyone gets to farm.
Yeah.
It's amazing against Witch Doctor Rubik too, those two squishy supports.
Even PA, you like going Bloodthorn or MKB on the hero since you basically only go physical, or like pure physical damage on their items.
Yeah, so you have a way to deal with the evasion of the PA, so. All right, well that's a pick that's going to give Keen Gaming some questions to answer here with their 10th pick of the draft. They have that flexibility with Kunkka, so we could see the Kunkka go to the off lane if they want to, and they can pick up a mid, or they can stick with the mid Kunkka, grab an off laner. That's what Infamous think. They ban out the Bat.
This Batrider pick is actually so cool from Infamous. If you think about it, it kind of bans Keen's Batrider. Because normally you want a Batrider versus TA. His Sticky Napalm and Firefly go through the refraction really quickly. So Infamous taking the Bat is also, I think, another ban that they get from Keen.
Yep.
Which is really smart.
Keen Gaming looking to use up all that reserve time, thinking through their options.
The most ideal pick for King Gaming, I think, here would be some tower hitter from Old 11. Right now, they're kind of lacking the tempo maker / tower hitter. Sure, Kunkka can make some tempo, but I think they are lacking on the tower hit department.
I feel like there's not many offlaners that bring that to the table, though.
What about an Underlord?
King Gaming likes Underlord, so I can see that happening.
He builds Halberd, he can build Pipe pretty easily, has a way to deal with the skeletons in the early game.
Ooh.
On me, I feel like Keen, this is where the buck stops. You defend your home turf, you walk away, and suddenly you're in the same placing as a team like RNG, and who knows what can happen.
I mean, you heard them in the interview. They were talking about the pressure that comes with being in Shanghai and having all these fans behind you. Very, very passionate fans that, for the better and the best of times, are going to support you and love you, but in the worst of times, they know when they mess up, they said it themselves, our Weibo is going to get overloaded if we make some serious mistakes here in this best of one.
Yeah, and their road is not going to be easy, because I believe after this they have to play, they'd have to play Liquid, right?
Oh,
but that's also the best way to make fans.
Yes.
You knock out the defending champions on your home turf. I mean, the cheers, they don't love them like they love LGD. They don't love them like they love Vici.
VG Gaming or LGD strolls up, everybody's like, oh, LGD is invincible. You know, Vici Gaming's talking about how much they love LGD, how they look up to those players. Nobody's talking about Keen, but the fans, the few fans who have stayed late into the night to be able to watch Keen, they are not facing pushovers. Infamous. They looked really good in the group stage blitz. You and I got to cast a lot of them. They are an aggressive team that you heard it from them themselves. You know, I don't even follow that much of Dota 2. I didn't even really follow the players. I'm just here to play the game. They look just like that inside the game. They look like doesn't matter whose name tag is on what hero. They're just here to outplay you.
Yeah, and I think that's really helped them a lot. That fearlessness, not really respecting anybody's name, and Keen not having quite the expected group stage that a lot of people thought they could have, but I mean, there's always one random team at TI that happens to do really well because it's unexpected, and that could be them this year.
Look at this. We are going to have those lane swaps, and what Hector did, he's hanging around the mid lane. He's finally going to head down to bottom. They want Old 11 in that matchup against the Batrider, I believe, but he is going to be gone on almost immediately, fortunately. That Heavenly Grace will manage to spare him from all the sticky napalms that he had on him, as well as the slow that comes out from Ray Fire Blast after the stun phase.
And I always say that you need a few all-star performances just to make things easier for yourself, and Hector is definitely the player that they need that kind of performance from. Was completely dominant in the groups, had such a good run. We need that from him again if you're a South American Dota fan.
Chasing down Old Chicken, getting a lot of damage out from Schofield. Whisper and Schofield, they've been quite the deadly duo, almost finishing off Old Chicken there. This is an aggressive duo that's going to make a lot of space for their hard carries of both Chris Luck and Hector.
And this is one of the few times where we're going to see Whisper actually prioritize in the laning phase cap. So many times during the group stage, they sort of just fed him to the wolves, made him get into some 1v3 situation as Schofield just try to secure Hector's farm.
And on the other side, we've got in our mid matchup, we've got Yeez Kunkka against Chris Luck, a player who had just an outstanding performance at ESL 1 Manila. Looks to be like one of those talents who could definitely see a long history in Dota 2 given his start here.
Oh yeah, he was absolutely dominant in India. Just worked pretty much everybody. I remember he had one of the highest first blood rates.
Oh yeah.
He would just solo kill by level 4 almost every single time.
He was just outplaying everyone.
And he was definitely their star there. And they're going to need a performance like that from him, especially in a best-of-1 situation. Something I noticed about Infamous in the group stage is oftentimes they would win the first game, sort of get figured out a little bit more in game number 2. So maybe this best-of-1 format could help them, but we'll see. As it feels like Keen sort of had a hard read going for that first pick PA.
Yeah.
It feels like they kind of expected the type of heroes that Hector could play and felt like PA was going to be good against both of them as they make the rotation down the bottom. Kaka already has 5 stacks on him, getting pretty low.
The Purification doing so much damage. The Heavenly Grace isn't up for a few more seconds, but Infamous give up on the dive.
This Omni Knight still farming just fine under his tower.
How do you expect this matchup to really break down, looking at some of these heroes?
I think the Enchantress is not as good against the PA as they think it is.
Yeah.
PA has Blur. She has the ability to gap close against you, so she can't just chuck impetus shots at you. More importantly, a lot of the attack speed slow that you get from the Untouchable gets negated by the fact that she can just Stifling Dagger you, and the bonus attack speed that you get from the Phantom Strike too. Plus, Enchantress just sort of has a low HP pull. She really relies on that Untouchable, and PA can definitely burst you.
Yeah, this is definitely a situation where Keen kind of got the lanes that they wanted, right? They got the Omni Knight versus that Bat Rider. The Bat Rider unable to pressure the hard carry of Keen, and then the PA in turn can do potentially a lot of work against Whisper, but we're seeing that Schofield is having a significant impact in the lane thanks to his tag team.
And this mid lane matchup relatively even ever since they took away the deny mechanic at bottom lane.
Toss back, Hector. Just trying to deal with this pull that was happening from Keen.
We're sailing now.
Either team would love to be able to pick up a kill in the next like 10 seconds as we do have the bounty runes spawning. And I'm thinking Schofield should be able to secure at least one of them top, so we'll see what Hector and Stinger are able to do in this bottom lane.
Almost feel like Schofield should just rotate towards that bottom lane. I don't know how much he gets accomplished at top. Believe you just want Whisper to just get levels right now. He's going to make his way towards the rune, going to find the sentry.
Yeah, it looks like the aggro dual lane should be able to get the 2, and Tuss secures another one on the other side of the map. So that's going to be 3 for Infamous, including that. The mid lane matchup, 33-5 now for Chris Luck against Yeez Kunkka, 28-5. Is this how this matchup is supposed to go now that some of the deny mechanics have been taken away?
Oh yeah, normally you'd see the TA at like 12 denies at this point, but because the deny mechanic's been taken away, the Kunkka does just fine. The only thing that's sort of annoying for him is the regen fight, just because it's so hard for him to burn out refraction charges.
Perhaps that's part of the reason he's gone for Bottle, and Courier's been spending a lot of time in that mid lane. We'll see whether or not he can get the 6-minute rune.
I think part of the reason why he decided to go for the Bottle was so he could play around the power runes, just gank out the side lanes. He doesn't really have a support that can rotate in and get an easy kill from in mid lane.
Yeah, Witch Doctor and Rubik both kind of, they don't have great amount of kill power solo, right?
Yeah, and Schofield gonna make the rotation down towards bottom.
Hector's quite low. This could be our first blood. Snowball's coming in. He does manage to pick up Hector, but Hector does get burned down. Kaka secures the first blood before he goes down. Old 11 with the Heavenly Grace is actually going to turn and fight Stinger back. Even with the Firefly up, Omni Knight remains unafraid of the flames.
Chris Luck finds the DD rune at bottom lane.
Oh, with the double trap slow. Is he really going to die?
Oh, he gets the courier!
Oh, Yee! Miss micro there, leaves the courier right behind his hero. And that just sets it up for a clean side blades kill.
That's just one of those situations where you don't, it never really happens.
Yeah. You just don't really think about it until it's too late.
Oh, he just sent it directly back, didn't even bother microing it, thought he was fine as he's going to make the rotation down towards bottom. That's what I expected, for him to try to get aggressive into the side lanes. Plus, I think that's a little bit of a tilt move. Like, getting a kill on a Tusk at that point doesn't even feel that good.
Yeah.
Don't be mad.
But once you mess up in that situation, you want to make the play that recovers it.
Stun out from Hector. Schofield moving forward with Stinger. But again, feeling like they just really can't pressure this last pick on the night. They came out from Keen that was supposed to be able to address both the physical damage that comes out from the Wraith King and the TA, while also providing a dispel against this Bat Rider.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but as an offlaner at bottom,
Well, just quickly takes away that Wraith Fire Blast slow damage over time, and again, is able to push back Infamous. They really just can't get aggressive like they want to.
if you're playing Omni in a game like this, normally the only time that your game is actually ruined is if your laning phase is bad, right?
Yeah.
And if you get the levels, I mean, your hero sort of just becomes unkillable anyways.
Yeah, it's like one of those great situations both the Bat and Omni Knight are in, right? It's like, as long as I get to level 3 and level 5, I'm just going to feel more and more powerful.
This is one thing, by the way, that Infamous does more than almost any other team. They stack the living hell out of the jungle.
Yeah.
They make sure, Hector, don't worry how your laning phase goes. You're going to get recovered in some way or another. And this is exactly how they do it.
And this is one of the things that we said is, like, sometimes, you know, they would just leave Whisper in these really terrible lanes, but it's not a bad idea to give Whisper a good lane because of how much they focus giving Hector and Crystalug these free neutrals, these free stacks and such. Hector taking a big nuke out from that purification, tossed back, but now the telekinesis is gone. Hector will TP to the shrine on the other side of the map, trying to be as efficient as possible. Hector always has really good reads about that stuff.
Yeah. Are they going to swap lanes entirely then? If Hector makes the rotation up towards his top lane, I feel like they have to.
Yeah,
Whisper probably has to go bottom.
Whisper is about to pick up level 7, so he's
more
than
They're going to go on him here, Cap.
Old Chicken is going to be caught here. The snowball actually went up to the neutrals. Schofield just trying to get closer to Old Chicken, it seems, after the blur, but Old Chicken just can't get far enough away from Whisper with the Ice Shards to be able to finish him off. Whisper starts laying some damage out onto Old 11, but Yi is going to pull him back into the combo here. But they don't really have the damage to threaten this.
They want to go on Dark right now.
3 levels of the heal, and now they're going to be able to get the slowdown onto Dark. A fresh snowball is up.
Nice
Shots, he's got 1 or 2 left, but the cast just perfectly sent out at the last moment.
And a very good Torrent at the same time. Otherwise, probably would have gone the extra hit onto the Witch Doctor to get the kill, but Yi right now, not a whole lot of successful rotations. And he's going to get out-farmed by this TA in the jungle. He really wanted to make these plays work, but Enchantress just doesn't die in those positions.
No, she does not, since like everybody's been going for the Nature's Attendance maxed out. It's so hard to challenge this hero, and Whisper is actually staying in this lane right now as they're going to be able to catch Dark, who's trying to protect his tower, gets a vision up, but immediately Infamous kill him, make sure they get the bounty runes, and now Whisper's going to rotate over. He waits until they've secured the bounty runes first, and it looks like he may have just gotten 3 for his team, almost killing Kaka as well, but a fast reaction from Kaka that TP out. Whisper knows the damage wouldn't come fast enough.
And they did swap the lanes out. During that entire time, Stinger was farming bottom. They didn't make the rotation until late just because Whisper was able to get that kill and Hector defaulting to the jungle. And Old 11 is doing the right thing right now, Cap. He's staying on top of Hector. He's making his laning phase as annoying as possible. He knows that he TP'd up here and Whisper TP'd at bottom, so they're reluctant to make the switch.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in the one-on-one matchup against this Enchantress now that she actually has all the damage that comes out from Impetus. The smoke up, the first big maneuver here from Keen Gaming, looking for a successful move to shut down Hector once again. They have done their research. They know exactly how Infamous likes to be able to play, and that is stacking the best game possible for Hector. And with a rotation like this, they've secured at least 1 death on him, and no rotations from Infamous. It looks like they're just going to leave Hector out to dry potentially, as Stinger kind of rotates over, but Hector is going to be caught by another X marks the spot, and he just stops moving. He knows his life is forfeit, and it's all space as Whisper tries to take down that bottom tier 1.
That is such a nice rotation because they see that Schofield is low and mid and he's fighting Old Chicken. They know he's not going to TP in. Whisper just TP'd into bottom lane. So not a lot of support coming from him, and that's part of what Wraith Kings rely on, is that fear that nobody will go on them at all because of the counter rotations.
Yep.
But the timing of that was just almost too good for Keen not to take advantage of.
And that means Kane will not only kill the Wraith King, but they'll also, all that space that was given to the Enchantress to take that tower, they just even things out. Telekinesis toss back there is going to be able to lasso on Kaka, but not actually pulling him to the TA for fear of a boat coming in. And Chris Luck trying to, oh no, there's a sentry already placed, so immediately gets stunned up. Whisper's now in trouble. It's Nature's Attendant trying to save him. The snowball back into the team.
Oh, it's going to hit the boat.
There, he also has the Maledict. He punches up in the air, but they all just get wiped in the river. Infamous completely misread that situation and bleed out heroes very rapidly.
There are 5 heroes right now on the side of Keen. They want to take this mid tower. Infamous, maybe they just thought it was going to be some 3-on-3 where they could back them up, but everybody from Keen made the rotation over, and as a result, they're going to get rewarded with this mid tower. So crucial to the rest of their game, because against a team like Infamous that decides to go these Hands of Midases on their carry every game, you want to punish this.
Yeah.
You want to get into his jungle. You want to force him out. Old 11 is a hard kill. He can do moves like this.
I mean, just little things like being able to take like one neutral camp away from this Wraith King. That's not going to be bad. He even body blocks it. He just goes through and is going to try and catch more CS, just kills the skeletons.
Yeah, you have a TA that wants to farm one side of the triangle. You have a Wraith King that wants to farm the other. They don't have the easiest way to push out lanes. It's really just the Batrider 5 position that does it. And he doesn't really have the levels to do it cleanly. So you're put into a weird position where Stinger gonna run into Old 11, but they don't really have map pressure like they'd like to.
Nice.
So losing that mid tower is pretty big.
They do manage to get the obs.
Oh, bottom lane?
Dark actually kills one as well. Oh, the melt miss there. An old chicken dances away into the trees. I don't think Chris Luck really thought he could get the kill there. And oh dear. He maybe caught. The Tuss is coming in, trying to save the day. Ice Shards, okay, that's in the wrong direction. A little odd, but Chris Luck's going to turn and try and fight Yi, but Coco's Rum as well as the Spirit Vessel. He is going to be able to snowball into the neutrals, but again, Keen Gaming just bringing the extra heroes here to be able to take the fight, ensuring that they will bring down Infamous every single time they meet these heroes. They know that Hector's too busy farming, that as long as they 5-man, they'll be able to take any fight against Infamous. Now they're going to be able to catch Whisper as well with Spirit Vessel, preventing a lot of that heal. The early pickup from Yi, just a smart read of this game and how to be able to dismantle Infamous.
And Infamous, it feels like they're rushing their moves. Going on a PA in that position, just as a solo TA, you're almost definitely not going to get the kill.
Yeah,
if you looked at the timer too, she was about to get another creep wave connecting to her, so she could have always just blinked back.
Look at this, I love this. Keen. They get kills like this, and then they're just immediately going to smoke to the other side of the map.
And the entire team is farming right now. You have a Tusk that's hitting neutrals, a Batrider that's hitting neutrals, Hector trying to push out this top lane because he knows that somebody has to.
That could not have been a more beautiful read. The sucker punch from Kaka as he'd stolen that one away. He's even going to be able to get Nature's Attendant. Surprising that Whisper is still alive even through that Spirit Vessel. That Yi just said, oh, that's the kill, and ran to look for more. Now he has to come back to make sure they finish the job. Whisper finally dies.
Did take quite a bit, and that's going to open up some space, but it never feels good having to trade deaths for space. And that's what Infamous has to do right now. They still have a pretty good gold advantage, despite the fact that Keen has gotten the last 5 kills in a row. Everyone just kind of farms really quickly on the side of Infamous. That's what Hector's known for, being put into these weird positions where his team gets behind early and kills and loses map control, but still finding space on the map.
Yeah, you pointed this out during the group stage, is that Hector is actually well regarded by a lot of the Western players as being a very proficient farmer.
Yeah, and once he gets his Radiance, the next timing will hit. But I sort of feel like with Wraith King, once you get the Radiance, if anything, it just speeds up your farming time even more.
Yep.
So you probably just want to continue to hit creeps almost.
Yeah.
At least for the next 3 or 4 minutes after that fact. You want to take advantage of the fact that you can clear creeps so quickly. On one hand, you can use the skeletons that you spawned to farm 1 stack, and then you can push out the lane using the Radiance.
It almost feels like these Wraith Kings get Radiance, and then they just keep farming until they have like level 18 and like 1 or 2 items past that Radiance. They want to be able to reach that like really dangerous mid game that like Alchemists do.
Yeah, I don't think you're fighting this Kunkka heads on early.
No.
If you look at his item build, he's decided to go for the Spirit Vessel.
And that will mean that the scaling of Keen Gaming may fall off with the amount that they're 5-manning running around the map. You can see the win probability, though, heavily favoring the home team.
Yeah, I think the idea is that the PA is going to outcarry any of them, which might not entirely be wrong. If you just look at the sheer lack of disables that they have for him.
X marks the spot on Schofield. No snowball, and he's going to be caught in disable after disable. The snowball is going to come a bit too late unless the ice shards can separate the two, but there's just another X marks the spot.
Again, they just have to trade deaths for space. What they're really trying to do is divert them away from the towers right now, Cap.
And they are kind of doing that. They've only lost 2 towers so far, but surely, like, Keen is still keeping up in net worth, and at some point in time, especially with the PA Battle Fury, you're gonna reach this really big power spike, and you should just be able to start mowing down towers. Bebby was said he would be surprised to see the PA Battle Fury. Why do you think Old Chicken went for it this game?
I think almost all PAs in situations like this would go Battle Fury. It feels good as a farming mechanic. It makes it so that you don't feel so all in the mid game. Plus, it's just one of those items, like, it feels good all around because it gives you mana regen too.
Yeah. So we could see from Old Chicken's current predicament, could definitely use a little bit more mana. Stinger going for the creep cut right now, being chased by Yee's
They're just going in for Roche.
Even the boat being thrown out here, Stinger is going to get spotted finally. He actually goes for the lasso, TP away. Q play by Stinger and does manage to buy a lot of space, but the rest of the team is focusing on Roshan. As we've been talking about, doesn't look like Infamous is looking for a fight.
Hey, what's weird is this was a first pick PA, but it looks really good against all of Infamous's heroes. Like, for the most part, all the cores are physical damage dealers. They rely on the hit. This is like the weirdest read that I've seen in a draft.
Yeah.
They're like, we know all your heroes. It fits into this category. PA is going to be good against all of them.
Keen. They smoked up immediately after the Roshan. Hoping to be able to catch somebody here, but all the important heroes on the other side of the map. Whisper is pushing out the bottom lane while the Wraith King farms up that jungle area. Just about to complete his Radiance, but Keen Gaming know there's no reason to slow anything down. They just want to make sure that Stinger doesn't actually catch anything. Oh, they do have the X on Dark, so he's going to be pulled back after a quick heal.
And the side lane push out, we've seen this so often from the side of Infamous. They want to avoid these fights early on. And they're even pressuring this bottom tier 2 towers. The skeletons are going to work, but Yi kind of briefly TP back. He wants to continue that pressure. Mid lane, Schofield, almost, oh.
Does get jumped on, but no disables.
And they're just buying really good time right now.
Yeah.
They've taken the tower up at top. There's a BKB on this Templar Assassin. And they finished the Radiance. This is pretty good item timing, despite not getting a kill for so long.
I think Keen Gaming have almost focused too much on trying to catch these heroes that are split pushing them, and just there is a lack of objective pushing, right?
Yeah,
on the
that's
side
what
of
Febby
Keen,
said
they
too.
just don't have great heroes to hit towers.
He wanted something that could hit towers.
Yeah.
In the draft as the last pick, but they decided to go for the Omni Knight. You have a very 5-man heavy lineup as a result. Plus you went the Spirit Vessel on the Kunkka.
Yep.
It's going to work in the first 30 minutes of the game, but eventually this build, it'll start to fall off.
It seemed like a cute idea, especially with the way that he could like X marks and then defend that like bottom lane push by just one shot and then back to the mid lane he goes, or the way he tried to hunt down the Bat Rider to prevent him from being able to split push. But in the end, addressing just one of these lanes hasn't been enough. There's always been a second lane that's being pushed in and objectives are being bled away.
Yeah. The one thing about it is Infamous is out farming them across the board, and they're going to grab this tier 2 tower. So somehow, despite not getting any kills, they're just getting more towers than Keen Gaming. But what it does come down to in Dota, and especially at TI, is the team fights. So we'll see if they're able to keep up in that department. They have such a physical damage-dealing core lineup, and there's an Omni Knight on one side, and you've got Blur on the PA. Naturally very good.
Yeah, it's definitely like Infamous. They can split push all they want, but you pretty much always in order to win a game of Dota, have to be able to beat the enemy team in a team fight. So Infamous are going to have to take that eventually, and it's going to be against a Deso PA, as that's closing in pretty quickly. Going back for the minus on Whisper. He says, this is going to be a long one, and I'm going to plan accordingly.
I would agree because Keen doesn't have catch. If your offlaner doesn't come with catch, it usually means that you're not going to take the easiest of fights. So you just sort of have to 5-man. You don't have that option to just roam with 2 heroes and get kills easily. So you're going to run into the BKB TA. This might be the worst target for them to run into.
TA is going to be able to get off the BKB, jumps into the back line, but there is going to be saved from the Omni Knight. Kaka's going to be okay for now until big punch from Schofield to be able to finish him off. Schofield will be sacrificed in turn as the paralyzing cast, slowing down both
Hector's here now.
and Whisper, but they're going to show up. Managing to stun on Old 11. Look at that damage coming out from this Enchantress. Heavenly Grace won't save you, my friend. The Omni Knight falls. And Chris Luck looking to be able to blow down the next hero, Old Chicken. He needs a target to be able to jump away to, and he's got one in Yi, but a big shot from the Impetus, it does miss. The Tusk snowballing in, Ice Shards forward, the Raid Fire Blast nails the PA. Can they overwhelm him? They're
what a dive this is.
And this is a dive that will be able to win the fight.
And they're going to surround this PA right now. Ulted up by the Bat Rider, nowhere for her to go.
Absolutely nowhere. Jumps over to the Kunkka, but they had the Ice Shards well in place to be able to block her out.
They're going to take this tower,
that
too.
That is 4 dead, and yeah, tier 2 is going to fall just like that.
And Infamous has answered the question. All they needed was that one team fight. They didn't get a kill for something like 12 minutes, and it happens in a hurry. And 23 minutes in, they're threatening for the tier 3.
Do a little bit of damage, not trying to push their luck. And I think that's something that, you know, Infamous, and there were points where I think they got a little undisciplined. They lost some of the games because of that, but one thing that they really didn't do too much was try and push high ground before they were actually ready. This is a good example of that. Maybe it's just because in part of how much they love to be able to farm as we look back at that fight and see Old Chicken just try and make escape after escape, but Infamous, you say Keen, you know, lacking catch, Infamous has a plethora of it.
Yeah, the pride of South American Dota. I mean, they're able to just follow up so easily. They have stun after stun. They've got multiple ways to gap close. They've got blink daggers aplenty. And I feel like Keen, they almost missed their timing window by 5-manning too much. They would often take these smoke ganks where they just run into one hero. Took them way too long to kill Whisper when they did run into the jungle and found him. And all it really did was open up space for his 2 side lane cores.
Look at that.
And the one
Midas from Hector.
The one thing that we know about Infamous is like they farm really well,
yeah,
and really efficiently. And it almost feels like Keen, I mean, they got way too gun shy. Once they got the Aegis, they weren't really willing to commit for the push. They kept dealing with the side lane assault, and it just lost them so much time. But they're going to go for the 5-man again. I think they're sort of resigned to this fate with their item builds and the type of heroes that they have. They've got to go for this raid boss PA. But even having an Omni Knight behind her, she still needs a BKB.
And their goal, right, is to be able to convince Infamous to come back and fight them. But Infamous are refusing to do so and just keep on pushing the other side of the map. So eventually, Keen, they may be the ones to come back in style. They're going to try and defend this here to at least get a team fight out of it, but they're going to be a little slow to arrive as Kaka does manage to get a telekinesis, has a Raid Fire Blast to be able to get the chain stun.
They're committing to this fight.
They don't really want to jump Hector right away. They're not going to overly commit into this reincarnation. They finish him up and then start retreating, especially with that Heavenly Grace on Old Chicken, allowing him to back away from these slows pretty easily. The X marks the spot, allows him to be able to jump back in, but the toss snowball actually bought the time, and now the lasso on Old Chicken fades away nice and fast from the Heavenly Grace, but there goes that on the ultimate. It will be able to buy some time with the pure damage coming out for the Enchantress, doing so much to Old Chicken, he actually has to back away, and without the Old Chicken, they're lacking on damage. Infamous knows that. They're just going to march forward, catch whatever heroes they can. That's only going to be the Omni Knight for now. It's Infamous say, great, fantastic, we got a tier 2, we didn't lose the team fight, let's back up, control the map again.
That is a very head-scratching decision to try to go on Hector, who, I mean, he already has the ultimate up. And this is not an easy kill either. He opted to go for the Blade Mail so that he could just get a little bit more armor and to try to dissuade the PA from going in on him. And Keen, they really rely on that Coco's Rum. So when they threw in the boat just to take out the first life, it's so hard for them to get any sort of follow-up damage.
Yeah, if it was like, if they could have actually brought him down without that, and then commit the boat into the second life and take that big team fight would have been fantastic. You saw how low Hector got in that second life, but it was just too much as that Schofield snowball, and then the damage comes out from the Enchantress, threatening the PA's life. Once the PA's out of that fight, Keen have nothing left. And
you see smiles abound on the side of Infamous. They're happy about this game. They know the pace of the game is definitely favoring them right now. And for Keen, it almost feels like they're feeling the pressure. They're going for these ill-advised five-mans. I mean, they're taking whatever fights present themselves, but they really need a BKB on this PA. Even though the blur is very good, they're just sort of chunking her down with magic damage.
And perhaps the pressure of being able to play in front of the home crowd is getting to Keen, and how they've gotten so gun-shy. They just don't want to be making any mistakes. They're playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And Infamous, they're only looking at victory right now with an 8,000 net worth lead at 27 minutes in. Very few kills, but that's been to Infamous' advantage with all these Hand of Midases and farming heroes.
Yeah, and they've got a BKB now on the Raid King too. I mean, they're in prime position in this game. And could you imagine if I told you that this is what was going to happen? Infamous for most teams, and for most analysts, was a bottom 2 team. For a lot of teams, this would be a free draw, but I mean, they're proving they don't roll over for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Compared to our previous best of 1 with Team Liquid there, I'm sure Keen thought they were pretty fortunate to be able to get Infamous instead. But as you said, the South American powerhouse is proving not to just roll over. They will have a fight though. Keen, nice snowball coming out. Schofield gonna be able to save Whisper, but can he actually get him out in time? The torrent, the boat, almost enough damage, and Yi is able to get the final swing. Now a stolen lasso coming out from Kaka as he does manage to grab Chris Luck, taking away a lot of that BKB timing, and Infamous make sure they don't lose any more heroes. Schofield will manage to slide away with that Blink Dagger.
Roshan is up though, and they're pinging in that area. Old Chicken already going to start this for his team. Enchantress doesn't have buyback yet, and with no lasso on the board, Infamous might be a little bit more reluctant to take this fight. There's no BKBs. Hector just gonna run in.
About to come back in. Look at that. Chris Luck immediately.
They found the back line.
What a snowball on old 11, and Kaka controlling him up. The telekinesis toss back does help get some control, but it's not good enough as Stinger flying over them. On the side, we do have, they're trying to chase away this toss as best as possible.
Oh, the melt strike.
But Hector, melt strike after melt strike. Chris Luck being able to bring down Dart. Again, now old 11, Schofield's trying to get away, still away from that X marks the spot, but look at him now, he's taunting, he's saying, you can't finish me up, boyo. I've got the Walrus Punch, that's the touch that Infamous need to claim Roshan.
And now this half HP Rosh is just theirs for free. I mean, Infamous is just thoroughly outplaying Keen right now. They're consistently getting to the back line. Keen can't protect either of their supports right now. It feels like this Omni Knight's job is too complicated. His head is on a swivel right now. He's trying to get to his cores. He has to turn around to help his supports out. And they're just going to go for it right now. There is a glyph available, but with so much time left on this Kunkka, 36 seconds until he respawns, doesn't have buyback. Infamous, they're going to take this tower very quickly with the Deso.
They certainly are, especially if Hector can get out some skeletons as well. 10 seconds on that. 20 seconds on the Kunkka. We have a fresh BKB on the Phantom Assassin.
He needed one so badly. The Omni has to be able to protect the backline.
It just seems like Keen in that last Roshan fight, probably not expecting Infamous to take the fight to them 4 versus 5. Got a little lax in their positioning around the pit.
Yeah, the supports got completely caught out, and suddenly the numbers advantage swung the other way.
I mean, just Dark immediately out of the fight with Chris Luck executing him, and then they just get stuck in this funnel of death in the river area, which Infamous are going to be able to work really well around between the Radiance Burn, the Firefly that's out from Stinger where he can play on the cliffs, Schofield being chased by E this entire time, but had multiple ways to be able to save himself with ice shards and snowballs.
By the way, if you just check the amount of farm that Chris Luck has, he has an MKB and a Daedalus completed up. 1,200 gold on top of that.
That is massive, and he's being greedy too. He's holding on to the Aegis and the cheese, even with the Deso, or the Daedalus rather, in his backpack.
And you could see the distress on Yi's face. When they flash to him, he can sense that this game is rapidly getting out of hand. They can sense it slipping away. And Infamous, I mean, they're getting stronger as the minute passes by. They're marching down mid again. They've got 2 lives on their TA. They've got 2 lives on the Wraith King. There's so much that Keen have to deal with just to win a team fight at this point.
Schofield making drawings up to the top lane and bottom lane. I think he just wants to be able to hem Keen in as much as possible.
Look at that discipline from Infamous.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, Hector looked like he kind of just wanted to go straight to that bottom lane of barracks through the mid lane, but Schofield said now is not the time. We still have shrines up, guys. We have plenty of time on this Aegis. There's no need to rush things.
And they are looking like such a veteran team right now.
Yeah.
They're pushing in the lanes before they go for some sort of blind push. And that's what Keen did, if you recall. Keen sort of just went for it down mid while their 2 side lanes were in distress. But Infamous is being cautious. All their lanes are in a good position, and now they're just going to go for it.
Hector starts banging on the tier 3. Chris Luck not joining him too much, make it a shot or 2. Just to be able to, oh no, he's going to jump forward immediately, take out Kaka, popping his BKB, looking for his next target. The Heaven's Halberd is going to be able to buy some time for Dark, but not long enough as he just gets 2 shots
level
right
25
away.
talent.
That's a double kill for Chris Luck with the Melt Strike, getting the bashes in. Omni-Knight finally forced to be able to throw out his ultimate, but now he's being pulled back and all that pure damage. Triple kill for Chris Luck. He looks for his next target. The boat coming in. He's going to take his time, backing up. He has the Blink Dagger coming back in. Old Chicken does manage to jump in and finish off Schofield, but another Heaven's Halberd onto Chris Luck, stalling up this damage. Old Chicken tries to throw the daggers after him, but this Templar Assassin with the refraction.
They're going for Megas right now.
Tanky, and they're just going to go for the Megas. They're going to force reaction out of Keen Gaming. They say, you have to fight right now. Ain't a 3 versus 5, or Megas is ours.
And they've already taken the top racks with the skeletons, and bottom shortly to follow. 33 minutes in, they've taken Megas.
Because of the X, got a free jump on to the Kunkka, and just like that, they managed to get the Megas, and now Old 11, he gets executed quickly on the spot. Yi slowed down, paralyzed, and cast bounce between the 2 of them, though, with the boat on top of it. Chris Luck does take a large share of this damage. He does have the Aegis, though, and he's okay with this, especially if they can kill Old Chicken. Impetus after Impetus, coming in from Whisper, finally able to finish off the PA. She buys back, but Keen Gaming stuck inside their base, and Hector says, that's where I want to go. I want to go all the way into the fountain. I want to find some more kills, but he knows he may have just overstepped himself a little bit. They do have the snowball. Now they jumped outside of the fountain. Hector's really trying to fight. Quickly taking out the PA. Thanks to Whisper, laying out the damage. Keen Gaming are forced into the fountain once again, and that is GG Gaming. Called the GG and Infamous make it past the best of 1.